guys, Schmitty here. Welcome back to another video. Now, yesterday in Black Ops 4, we got a game setting update, and we've had these pretty much every day since the game has launched in Black Ops 4. They usually bring about small updates, some minor tweaks to something in the game that needs adjustment that they don't have to pull out a full update for. You know, nothing to the effect of the 10 to 12 gig patch that we got with all the weapon changes and various game changes throughout all the modes. But yesterday we got an update that, while it wasn't very big, it was pretty significant into changing the way that we earn DLC stuff in this game, at least as of right now. So just a couple weeks ago, we saw the addition of the contraband stream to Black Ops 4. This is the thing similar to the Fortnite Battle Pass, to where there's different tiers of things, and the more you play, the more stuff you earn. It's a pretty straight up system, and on paper, it's very fair. You go out there and play to earn more stuff. Now, one of the things that sucked about it right away when it came out for the first 4 days or so on PS4 was that the time to be able to grind to unlock stuff was extremely long. It was taking people like 20 some games just to advance one tier. Like, it was super long. And then I believe just before it came to Xbox was when they pushed out the update, and they cut that down massively. Now it's nowhere near as long. It's down to about 6 or 7 games of time, but that's still not necessarily ideal. And many times it can equate to around 45 to 50 minutes of in-game time to be able to advance just one tier, which may not sound like the worst thing in the world, but when there's so many tiers and there's a 53-day total limit to be able to do this thing, you have to put in like 4 or 5 days or something like that of game time just to be able to get this far and to be able to complete the entire stream. Now, I'm going to come back to this here in a little bit, but I want to get to what the update added yesterday. In yesterday's update, we finally saw COD points officially come into Black Ops 4. This is something that was available in many pre-order bonuses for a lot of special editions, and it was something that people were waiting on. When are we going to be able to use our COD points? You know, we spent extra money in these pre-order editions to be able to get them. When are we actually going to be able to use these things? Well, finally, they were added yesterday. This is for PS4 only. As of next week, Wednesday, Xbox and PC will be able to use them, so I can't even really use my COD points yet. But on PlayStation 4, this feature was added, and as of right now, there's only a couple things that you can spend these COD points on. Yesterday added the addition to be able to purchase tiers straight up with your COD points. So if you want to skip tiers and advance tiers without having to go through playtime, you can buy them with 100 COD points each for each tier. And basically, 100 COD points equates to just about $1. So basically, to advance each tier costs $1. And this thing has kind of gotten mixed reviews, because if you do all the math, it's about $200, you know, just straight off of that to be able to get through, with some of the bundles and some of the reductions of prices. So if you were to get like a full bundle, the actual price would come out to be about $160, which is pretty close in equation to Fortnite's Battle Pass. To be able to purchase all the way through Fortnite's Battle Pass every time a new one comes out, it's about $150 to go all the way through. So it's pretty similar, and you actually get more tiers in the Black Ops 4 contraband stream than you do in Fortnite. Now, the argument can be brought up that seems like half of the things that are in the contraband stream are reserves, aka the newer edition of supply drops, but that's a whole discussion for another day. You guys get the gist of what I'm saying. They're pretty similar in terms of what they are. Now, like I said, this is getting mixed reviews, because now with the addition of, you know, COD points into the game, people are starting to, you know, start their conspiracy theories, and some of them are actually pretty legitimate about, you know, how Activision is going to make these COD points more of a, not really an option, but almost in some cases a little bit more of a requirement. And this is focusing solely on the contraband stream. Now, Blackjack's shop is not in the game yet. I mean, it's there, but it's not active yet. It's supposed to come sometime this month, so probably in the next week we will see it. I'm sure at some point when they bring Nuketown into the game, it'll probably come alongside that. That's going to be the direct purchase market, to where we can purchase probably skins just straight up, maybe weapon variants straight up might be in the game, camos as well, I'm sure. We don't know exactly what's going to be involved in that yet, but it's going to be some kind of direct purchase market like we saw in Fortnite. Something's going to be at a specific value of COD points. You pay that amount of COD points, you get that straight up. But I want to get back to this contraband stream, because this is what a lot of people are talking about right now, kind of debating the fairness and how fair the system really is now, with the addition of the COD points added in. Obviously, with COD points added in and them being linked to this contraband stream, it kind of lets in the opportunity to be able to just buy your way through this entire thing, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, and I don't see this personally as a problem. A lot of people are pointing to this as the big issue with the contraband stream. I have no problem. I have no problem with this being in here. I don't mind a direct purchase way to be able to get through tiers. I like that that's an option there, so if people just want to jump in on the new contraband stream when that comes out in the next 40 some days or whatever, if people just want to drop that $160 or whatever to just get through all the tiers, that's fine. If they just want to buy all that stuff outright and just get through that instantly, then I think that's definitely fair to be an option. And as well as the option of people to just, you know, skip a few tiers if they got a few extra COD points lying around or something, they just want to get through a few tiers or get to the next thing right away, or maybe maybe top off if they don't quite have enough time, I'm totally fine with that option. We've seen it so many times with Fortnite, people just buying straight through the battle pass right away, people topping off tiers if they got a few extra V-Bucks lying around. We see this thing a lot. But there is one major issue with this that, if it doesn't get fixed, could definitely be a problem. Now, like I said, my problem is not the fact that COD points in a direct purchase system are able to be used in this battle pass. My problem with this thing is the alternative. So the alternative, obviously, to buying stuff in this battle pass and buying your tiers outright is grinding, is playing the game, is, you know, just putting in the playtime to be able to get through these tiers the normal way without paying any money, which seems like a fair trade-off, but the problem is its execution is pretty poor at the moment. As I talked about earlier in the video, the amount of time that it takes to be able to get through this thing is not really ideal, especially for the average player. For the average person that, you know, has an outside social life, you know, where they have a job that they work, you know, 40 hours a week or whatever, people that are going to school, people that have families and spend time with them on weekends or, you know, in their spare time or whatever, and maybe only hop on the game maybe an average of an hour a day. This is just not something that they're going to be able to complete. Now, the key thing I want to stick in here is as it stands right now. As it stands right now, because the alternative to buying is just a grind that the average player is not going to be able to get through, that's what makes this system pretty unfair, and why a lot of people are kind of saying Activision's purposely making this harder to get so that they're kind of incentivized to spend money. I definitely could see that being a factor in there, and I don't have a problem with that kind of being an incentive, but it's almost to the point to where it's necessary, not an incentive. There's a difference there. It's one thing to have the incentive for people to, you know, grab a couple extra tiers if they don't feel like they're gonna make it. It's another thing to be like, well, the average person might not even hardly get to tier 100, let alone tier 200. So I have a couple pretty simple fixes to make this system a lot more fair, and I think with these changes, I will have no problem with the contraband stream system. Firstly, I think the time that it takes to be able to get through this thing needs to be halved. Like I said, it's been massively reduced already from an average of about 20 games or so to be able to get through one tier, which was ridiculous. Now it's down to about 6 or 7, which isn't too bad, but again, just with the time allotted and, you know, how much game time that actually is when you math it out through all the tiers, it's just something that a lot of people aren't going to be able to complete. I feel like this needs to be reduced to about 3 or 4 games to be able to get through just straight through playtime. That makes it a much more ideal thing to be able to get through, but at the same time, that may even not be enough. So I have one more solution to add onto this to make it very completable for the average player. Now, this is something Treyarch has already said is coming to the game, so there's not really a concern of if or when this will come. It is coming, but they need the introduction of challenges added to this thing as well, so completing a daily challenge or weekly challenges to be able to skip through tiers. Much like Fortnite, they have daily challenges every single day, and they have a set of weekly challenges every single week. There's 10 sets, there's 7 challenges. They offer 50 battle stars for each set of weekly challenges, which is the equivalent of 5 tiers. So with 10 weeks of challenges with 5 tiers apiece, that gets you 50 tiers just by completing challenges, and that's really the way to get through the battle pass. If you don't complete challenges in Fortnite, you're not going to get through the battle pass, again, unless you buy some tiers. But if you just go straight off playtime and don't do anything else, you don't complete challenges, or if you don't go the route of just buying all your tiers, you're not going to be able to complete the battle pass. And I feel like that's the one thing that this game is missing to be able to make this progress a thing that's actually going to be able to happen. There needs to be this implication of daily and weekly challenges, and this needs to be something that's like the crutch. Like, going out and completing these challenges will easily get you to the completion. That should be the idea. Not just the grind of putting in an insane amount of playtime, but also the grind of, look, you know, get 100 kills with assault rifles, we'll give you a tier, or something to that effect. I don't know how well that would balance out for a challenge, but you guys get the idea. I feel like if there's a proper challenge system implemented into this, even if they don't change the playtime that it takes to be able to get through it solely, I feel like if the challenge system is implicated and done right, that it can easily fix this entire battle pass system, because right now, as it stands, it's not exactly the most fair thing. Now, on paper, I will say it's very fair. Now, a lot of people have kind of mentioned at me like, hi, you know, told you so, that this thing really isn't fair. Like, no, on paper, this thing is very fair. But it's the alternative to spending money and the grind that takes that isn't really a fair point right now. As I've said time and time again with this video, I don't have a problem with tiers being able to purchase. I definitely think that should be an option for people to do if they so please. But you have to make this something that is achievable for those that don't have the 5, 6, 7 hours a day of time to be able to put into this game. It's just not something that's very practical. You know, and I don't think it's fair that, you know, yes, we're only talking about cosmetics, but to be able to have things like Hudson and that really cool ICR variant and, you know, a bunch of other variants and things that you get later on in the Battle Pass. I mean, to just think about the possibility that, like, you know, Hudson you could never get in the Battle Pass if it stayed how it was right now, and you could just go the rest of Black Ops 4 and you'd never have Hudson and there was never another way to get him. I don't know if that'd be the case or not, but just the thought of that would suck. There are no cosmetics cosmetics are the biggest thing to everybody, and we're not talking about DLC weapons right now. And I swear to God, if that ever makes it in the battle pass, we're gonna have a real issue here. I've seen a lot of people saying DLC weapons are coming in this thing next, and I swear to God that better not happen or we're gonna have a real problem. It's one thing to have weapon variants and all stuff of cosmetic locked behind this thing, but it's about damn time we make DLC weapons easily achievable to players. So I don't anticipate DLC weapons ending up in this thing. I know this is kind of a side thing and something that's not really thought of too much right now, but I'm just letting you know that I don't see this happening, but if it does, at that time, there will be a whole nother separate issue to talk about. Those are the things that I think need to be changed about this battle pass to make it a much more fair system. Again, like I said, on paper, I don't have a problem with this battle pass system. I'm totally fine with it, but it needs adjustments to be able to make it fair so that it's kind of equal on both sides. Like, it needs to be something that the average person can achieve, and right now, with the way it is, it's not at that point. I'm hoping that further adjustments as we go on here throughout the later days and weeks, that the right adjustments are made to make the system fair in the long run. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down below on the battle pass system. Obviously, as it stands right now, it's not necessarily the most fair thing in the world. We've definitely had worse, Black Ops 3, but it does need some adjustments to make it more fair. And you guys agree with the changes that I talked about here in this video? What other changes do you think need to be made? Obviously, keep them practical. Giving out stuff for free isn't something that's going to happen, or totally eliminating stuff isn't going to happen. Like make sure they're practical suggestions down below in the comments. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to smack the Schmidt like button down below. If you guys are new to the channel looking for more review content, you guys in the right place, the subscribe button down below as well. So you can see you guys in those videos. Go live. Hopefully you guys all have a good one. I will see you guys on another video. So long, everybody.